So, hello and good day everyone. Let me introduce myself. I'm Jessica Sirius and I am assigned to be discussed of our group report, which is late childhood. Let me all know that what is late childhood. First, let me introduce the lesson objective, which is identify the nature of late childhood. And let's proceed to the next slide. What is late childhood? In this stage begins at age of 9 to 12. This may also be the stage when puberty may begin. Children in their late childhood stage always seem to be in a hurry. They get so busy in schoolwork, interacting with friends. True, but this period of physical development seems to take on a leisure pace. There may also be the stage when puberty may begin. Puberty in this period in which the body undergoes physical changes and become capable of sexual reproduction. Okay, under the next slide is early puberty, boys versus girl. On the average, girls are generally as much as 2 years ahead of boys in terms of physical maturity. Although these developments may be determined by how close a child is to puberty, puberty may begin early. Budding breast for girls, which is the initial signs of puberty. Yes, one of the initial signs of puberty is the budding breast of girls. And some girls may also start with the menstrual period as early as 8 and some as late as 13. Puberty changes start when the brains trigger the production of sex hormones. Here are the some changes that may happen to both girls and boys during early puberty. Early puberty, girls versus boys. Of breast. Um, for the girls, the breast is small lumps from behind the nipples, sometimes painful, but pains go away, and normal that the one breast develop more slowly than other. And for the boys, swelling on their chest but tends to go away within 1 or 2 years ago. And for the next slide, we have early puberty, the genitals, girls versus boys, and the vulva start increase a bit, and the vagina gets longer, the uterus get bigger, and for the girls, and for the boys, subtle increase in testicle size, and penis and scrotum start to grow. Semen released when he is awake or during sleep. And for the some explanation of these genitals also, uh, in these genitals experienced by boys and girls is that girls experience changes in genital as she experience a having monthly menstruation and can be pregnant at early stage if no one guide her as she experienced this stage. Boys in this stage grow their penis and can make a girl pregnant. And to the another slide, we have the hair growth. For the girls, hair will start to grow in the armpit and pubic areas. And for the boys, the hair will start to grow and become thicker. New hair will also grow in armpit and pubic area around the genitals. May start developing chest and facial hair. And for the explanation, the boys and girls both grow hair in the armpit and pubic areas. In this stage, girls more focus on making themselves clean as they experience hair growth. Let's proceed to the next slide. Uh, Height, weight, and muscle development. Of course, we have. There are the factors that develop such as high weight and the muscle development. During late childhood, weight on average may be 2.3 to 3.2 kilograms per year. Weight increase is mainly due to increase in size of the skeletal and muscular system as well as several organs. An average of 2 2.5 inches in height and average of inch in head circumference each year. Children during this stage may experience growth spurts, sudden boosts in height and weight, and which are usually accompanied by increase in appetite and food intake. Many of the body in structure live like the liver, muscle, skeletons, kidneys, and face follow a normal curve, a development for both girls and boys. Other structure like the brain, intestine, and other organs and body system mature at their own time. Okay. Those affecting growth patterns. Increase in body fat also occur in preparation for the growth that occurs during adolescence. The body fat increase occurs earlier in girls and is greater in quantity. Girls appear to be chubby, while boys tend to have more lean body mass per inch of height than girls. These are normal part of development, and these is differences in body composition become more significant during adolescence. And to the next slide, we have okay, motor skill. Okay. In the reason that the early puberty begins to develop different parts of the body, the movement of muscles and bones also coordinates the leisure time of children. This physical activity like football, swimming, basketball, running, and other become the source of improvement of a healthy bones and muscles. During this stage, movement of this muscle and bones become more coordinated. At age 10 or 11 years, most children will have learned to play sport like swimming, basketball, and running. These physical skills become source of pleasure and great achievement to the children. In activities that use large muscle activities, boys tend to be more nimble than girls. Next slide. Although children in their late childhood is far become physically mature, they become overwhelmed when sitting or standing too long than when running, jumping, or playing actively. This because they need time to refine their skills, so they prefer active than passive movement. Although a significant increase in physical active may occur in this stage, children in their late childhood is from being physically mature, they become overwhelmed. Okay, katulad nga po yung, like what I said earlier, this because they need to use and refine their skills to prepare active rather than passive movement. And for this slide, from the age of 8, the child have greater coordination in writing, the fine motor skills which made the evidence from the way write the small fonts from the big fonts in primary. They also produce quality craft or greater control in playing instrument like guitars and piano. In this skill, girls are greater than boys. And in this skills, girls usually surpass the boys. And for the next slide, we have the insecurity. Okay, at this stage, the cold insecurities also began. Children may become concerned about their weight. Boys become concerned muscle size and strength. Yes, and for the girls, like me, I am concerned about my weight, of course, and for the boys, will concern the muscle size and the strength. Even this tiny insecurities, these parents and teacher must be conscious dealing with these children. Here are some. Uh, they promote a healthy growth, give them feeling or accomplishment, and reduce the risk of certain disease. Yes, yeah. para and this is the way to educate late childhood, also called insecurity, stage. Girls began to concern about weight, physical appearance, and boys develop insecurity on strength and muscle. In this stage of insecurity, teachers and parents must be conscious dealing with this and help their student to overcome these insecurities. Okay. Uh, Also, the parent and the what do you call it? Teachers must be conscious dealing with to help their student to overcome these insecurities. And to the next slide, we have implication to childcare, education, and parenting. Here are some point. Uh, Here's some point to consider for healthcare providers, teachers, and parents. During this stage, children are more physically active. However, they still have a lot physical maturity to undergo. Here are some points to consider for healthcare providers, teachers, and parents. First, provide ample opportunities at home and school for physical exercises and sport. B. To encourage the children to participate in varied worthwhile activities until they're able to discover the ones they are interested in. And for its third, develop a strong emotional attachment with your children so as this to address any security and social concern. And letter D, since children in this stage have more control over their eating habits, provide them with healthier food choices. And sorry, this is the way to educate our children and guide them through the way as they experience this late childhood. Fail of educating and parenting them may lead to wrong ways of growing. And to the next slide, let's proceed to initial cognitive development. Uh, Intermediate school children greatly enjoy the cognitive abilities that they can now utilize more effectively as compared to their thinking skill during their primary years. Their schoolwork are now more complicated. Reading texts have become longer. Problem solving has become an everyday part of their lives. Their ability to use logic and restoring gives the chance to think about what they want, how to get it, and they now become interested in talking about the future, even the potential careers, and develops interest in collection habits and sports, and more capable of understanding the concept. And they develop special interest collection habits in sport. They even capable of understanding concept without having direct hands-on experiences. And to the next slide, we have the characteristic of cognitive development. And for the reading development, we have children in this stage is marked by wide application of word attack. Because of the presence of previous knowledge, they now have a wide vocabulary which enables them to understand the meaning of unknown words through context clues. This is the reading to learn stage in reading development. They are longer into the fairy tales and magic type of stories but more interested in longer and more complex reading material. Example, the fiction books and the series books. And the website where listed a few strategies in choosing age-appropriate books for intermediate schooler. In choosing books appropriate to their age, consider the following. First, consider who child is his or her personality traits and personal preferences when choosing a book, and make a selections with the child in mind. Choose an informational book or a novel in area of specific interest. Choose books that encourage discussion and insight building. And the second characteristic of cognitive development is attention. Older children have longer and more flexible attention span compared to young children. Their span of attention is dependent on how much is required by given task. In terms of schoolwork, older children can concentrate and focus more for long periods of hours, especially if they highly interested in what they are doing. And next is the third is creativity. Uh, James Russell said, James Russell Lowell said that creativity is not the finding of a thing, but making something out of it after it is found. And children at this stage are open to explore new things. Creativity is innate in children, and they just need a little guidance and support from parents, teachers, and people around them or surround them. They are usually at their best when their work is done in small pieces. The creativity is in children is encouraged when the activities is encourage different influences from each child, celebrate uniqueness and break stereotypes, value process over product, reduce stress and anxiety in children, support to their ideas not only with their teacher but parents, but also with other children, also and other children of course, and minimize competition and external reward. And next is the fourth is the impact of media. According to Anderson and Collins 1988, television viewing is a highly complex cognitive activity during which children are actively involved in learning. The dream of having a television unit in every classroom started in 1950s. It was considered as one of the first technological advancements in school. The impact of this use of television and other media like computer has gained popularity because students are given more opportunity to communicate effectively in speech and writing, work collaboratively, use technological tools, analyze problems, set goals, and formulate strategies to achieving those goals, and last, seek the information of skills in their own as needed to meet their goals. And five, last, the media and aggression. Violence and aggression are often dubbed as one of the results of media. According to the Public Health Summit in 2000, the following are some of the negative results of media. The children will increase antisocial and aggressive behavior. Children may become less sensitive to violence and those who suffer from violence. Children may view the world as violent and mean becoming more fearful of being a victim of violence. Children will desire to see more violence in entertainment and real life. The children will view violence as an acceptable way to settle conflicts. Uh, the school and the home provide children with unlimited access to media, not only television and computers, but also videos, movies, comics, books, and music lyrics. The responsibility now lies with the parents, teachers, and the whole community. It should be a collective effort among the factors working together to to support children in every aspect of development. And having a role model is extremely important for children at this stage of transition or from childhood to adolescence. Children need an adult to admire and emulate. Role models also provide them with motivation to succeed. One of the most important roles of teachers is become a very good role model to teacher. And let's proceed to the yes and attention. The characters creativity that I will discuss earlier. The creativity is encouraged when yes, the teachers and impact the media and aggression that I discussed earlier also. And we have the implications to child education and parenting. Children have varying intelligence profiles. These profiles may also base influence, learning achievement. Parents, child care providers, and teachers should be able to recognize this through being eager participant in children growth and development, understanding how to use the children natural curiosity to help make the appropriate development leaps in their skills and ability, and creating an atmosphere where the risk can be taken, discovery made with children while children remain safe. Uh, and for some other add information, according to Erickson, children in late childhood are very busy or industrious. They're constantly doing planning, playing, getting together with friends, and achieving. These are very active time, a time when they are gaining sense of how they measure up when compared with peers. And uh, Erickson believed that in the industry, children can be successful their endeavor. They will get the sense confidence of future challenges, so how they become successful in these endeavors. Of course, with the help of supervision of their parents play an important role of their child development. They have responsibilities to perform as provide an environment that is safe for the child, provide basic needs, teach them morals, values, develop mutual respect with their child, provide discipline which is effective and appropriate for the children, get to know your child and involve yourself in your child education. Children who receive support from their parents develop an appropriate mindset, motivation, and self-discipline at school. Disengaged parents who are not interested in the academic life of their kids often promote school failures, and parents' involvement during the elementary school improve literacy growth. There are benefits from parents' involvement. First, better and under, first perform better on standardized tasks, get better grades, have a good attendance, feel better about themselves and about school, taking challenging classes, behave better at school, at home, continue their education after high school, and lastly, have a good social skills. Now, let's proceed to understanding self-confidence, self-identity, and self-concept. Now, let me one of the most widely recognized characteristics of this period's development is the acquisition of feelings of self-competence. This is what Erickson referred to when he described the development tasks of middle childhood, the social crisis industry versus inferiority. Uh, The industry refers to the drive to acquire new skills and do meaningful work. This child should have a growth sense of competence. The child's definition of self and accomplishments vary greatly according to interpretation in the surrounding environment. Varied opportunities must be provided in order to children to develop a sense of perseverance. They should be offered chances to both fail and succeed along with sincere feedback and support. During late childhood, children can now describe themselves with an internal and psychological characteristic and traits. They most likely employ more social comparison, distinguish themselves from others. Uh, in dealing with other children, they show increase in perspective taking this ability increase with age. It enables them to judge other intentions, purpose, and action, to give importance to social attitudes and behavior, and three is increase skepticism. For increase skepticism of others' claim. Now let's proceed to another slide, which is the emotional development. The same with other areas development, children in this stage show improved emotional understanding, increased understanding the more than one emotion can be experienced in a single experience. They may also show a greater ability to show or conceal emotion and utilize ways to redirect feelings and capacity of genuine empathy. Uh, In this stage is the development of children's emotional intelligence or EQ, which involves the ability to monitor feelings or oneself and others to guide motivate behavior. And another milestone of this stage the development of the children's emotional intelligence or EQ, which involves the ability to monitor feelings of oneself and others guide and motivate behavior, like what I said earlier. And emotional intelligence have four main areas. Let's proceed to the next slide. We have developing emotional or self-awareness, managing emotions or self-control, reading emotion or perspective taking, and fourth, handling emotion or resolve problems. And we have the next slide is building a friendship. As children go through their late childhood, the time they spend in peer interaction increases. And for them, good peer relationships are very important. The approval and belongingness they receive contributes to the stability and security of their emotional development. Peer size also increase and less supervision by adults is required at this stage. Children prefer belong to the same six peer groups. We have the five types of peer status also. We have the first is popular. The popular frequently nominated as the best friend and one who is rarely disliked by peers. The second is average. The average receive an average number of positive and negative nomination from peers. And the third, neglected, very seldom nominated as best friend but is not really disliked. And the fourth is rejected, infrequently nominated as a best friend but one who is also disliked by peers. And the fifth, controversial, currently nominated as a best friend but at the same time is disliked by peers. Popular children have the following skills which peers find very positive, and a result they become the most favored in group. First, they give out reinforcement. Second, they actually naturally. Third, they listen carefully and keep open communication. The fourth, they are happy in control of their negative emotion. And fifth, they show enthusiasm and concern for others. On the other hand, there are characteristics of neglected children, and why of the group of majority of the peers develop negative feelings toward them. Okay, let first they participate less in the classroom. They have negative attitude on social tardiness and attendance. The third, they have a more often reported as being lonely, and the fourth, they are aggressive. In the boys, the neglect children in the boys, they become impulsive, have problem in being attentive and distracted. They are emotional, reactive and slow to calm down, and they have fewer social skills to make and maintain friends. And to the next slide, we have the family. Of course, the family. And the family support at this stage is crucial. If children do not find a supportive family when they find their interest, example, in habits like riding a bike or playing a musical instrument, they can easily get frustrated. Yes, and if families or primary support system failures and setbacks become temporary and surmountable rather than something that is attributed to personal flaws or deficits. This time is a critical time for children to develop a sense of competence. A high quality adult relationship, specifically family relationship, enable them to successfully go through this stage of development. Okay, we have the big idea. This module it stresses that during late childhood, a wide variety of biological, psychological, and social changes take place across the development of domains. As children progress through late childhood, the family environment remains extremely important, while the community environment, including the school, also become a significant factor in shaping the child development. And during late childhood, peers have an increasingly strong impact, and development fear, acceptance become very important to well-being. And let's proceed to the next slide. We have the implication to of course we have the implication to child care's education and parenting. Primary school children's social emotional competence should be viewed in the context of child developmental stage. Healthcare providers, teachers, and parents should be able to gain an understanding of their child's social emotional strength and weakness. Uh, Next is encouraging children to talk about their feelings without doing it forcefully. Yes, for example, the children, we need to talk every day to what about their feelings without doing it forcefully, and provides opportunity for children to build relationships with teachers and fellow classmates. Remind children that friendship have their ups and downs, and this occasional conflicts and arguments can be healthy. Yes. And design activities that allow children to walk their own, discover activities and habits they enjoy, and model healthy relationships. And thank you for listening, and that's all for our report. Thank you and God bless.